mutual interest between the Magic and Klay Thompson. Thompson, along with several other vets around the league, are looking at the Magic as a situation where if you plug in a guy like Klay Thompson, you plug in another veteran player, whether it be at the point guard position, the shooting guard position, this team can make a real jump around Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Both guys, Paolo Banchero already a star, already a guy that's been a part of Team USA. Franz Wagner has the ability to potentially be an all-star as well. But if you plug in some more shooting and scoring, I think that's what can take this Orlando team to another level.
Man,
I think the key word there is mutual. Shams Charania is saying there's mutual interest between Klay Thompson and the Orlando Magic.
Man, I watched that game, Steiny. I don't know did you have the thought of, man, what Orlando would look like with a guy like Klay? I did.
Yeah, I didn't, but let me ask you this, Guru. When you hear that report from Shams Charania, and I'll ask this to Warrior fans too, when you hear it, let's start there.
All right.
What do you think?
There is interest, but I don't believe Klay is gone. And I'm not a mind reader. You didn't ask me to read minds, but I'll just share with you what's on mine. And even if he's not interested in Orlando and he wants to stay here, you play it right and you have your team say there's interest so you could kind of jar or shake the cage of the Warriors, and maybe more money in regard to offers will come from that. But Steiny, Klay Thompson still can shoot. So if I'm him, this is par for the course. You play it like you're interested. You know what I mean?
I think he is interested. When I first heard that report, my first thought was that I believe it. I absolutely believe there's mutual interest between Klay Thompson and the Orlando Magic. But my question to Warrior fans is I mean, if this is the way it's going to go and Klay's going to leave in free agency, are you okay with that? Like, something will irrevocably change if Klay Thompson is in another uniform. We know that. We can talk about the dynasty, where it is, if it's over, if it's not over, but the bottom line is if Klay Thompson's not on the Golden State Warriors, that is a huge transition.
No doubt.
That will be a huge difference. And would you be okay if Klay Thompson signed with Orlando? And the bottom line is, if he gets an offer from the Warriors, can pay Klay Thompson anything they want. They can pay him any amount they want. If they'd really want to keep him, they could make the highest offer to Klay Thompson. And if money were the most important thing, he would just re-sign with the Warriors. So my question to the Warrior fans is, if he goes to Orlando, will you be okay with it? Because at that point, it'll be obvious that the Warriors will not have offered the amount of money Orlando offered or didn't want to offer the amount of money that Orlando wanted. And is that the way that Klay's going to leave? And if so, are you okay with it? 888-957-9570. I mean, this is...
Talk to me, man.
This would be big.
Because I called him a lifer, Steiny. And this is early. Yeah. And I'll say this. I'm a Klay Thompson fan. And you talk about the big three, Draymond re-upping last summer, Steiny. If he were to leave, then it's over. You know, that run will, I know 2/3 of the big three will still be here, and Looney, and he's taking on a different role. But Klay Thompson is a fan favorite, a 4-time champ, born and raised, raised under the Warriors. And it'll be weird. And what I don't like, just from a personal standpoint, Steiny, is if I thought Klay was, let's just say, where Kevon Looney was at, where you feel like you got a replacement for him in TJD or whatnot, I'm scared, and it's early. If he were to depart, I just don't feel like they got an in-house replacement for him. So from a basketball standpoint, that's scary as well. And I know they can go shopping and do whatnot, but the key component is, you said the Warriors can go above and beyond.
Right.
And tap into, you're one of us, Steiny. You ain't going nowhere. You're a lifer. So that's the reality of, wow, this offseason will be, just with that move, if he's gone, it's already a facelift.
No doubt. No doubt.
No, man.
I mean, when Joe Lacob talked about big changes if the season didn't end well, I mean, to me, the obviously the biggest change for this team would be if any of the big three is not on the team next year. So if Klay is not on the team next year, I think we've crossed the threshold then with this organization.
Man,
I don't think anybody would disagree with that. It's not that the Warriors, and listen, the Warriors could allow Klay to sign with Orlando and next year win 50 games. That's very possible.
Won't be the same, though, Steiny.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
But it won't be the same.
Right.
But at this point, I think the Warriors, they're going to have to make that decision on what Klay Thompson's worth and see if he can take it or if he gets an offer elsewhere against Orlando, with Orlando. So,
they need shooting. I want starting that whole series, man. They got the money. There's water in Florida, so he wouldn't be a fish out of water leaving the bay. But I know it's early. I just got to believe. And I know I'm asking you to mind read, Steiny. What do you think he wants?
I think he wants money / respect. That's what I think Klay Thompson wants. 888-957-9570 is the number. Klay Thompson said to have interest in the Orlando Magic. It does feel like, I don't know. It does feel like this offseason is starting something that will end with a different look for the Warriors next year to start the season. And I don't know if the big threes get
if you had to bet right now with this report, which we already knew was out, was going to come, and I'm sure the Magic will not be the only team trying to get the services of one Klay Thompson.
I mean, if I had a bet on whether the big three is on this team next year at this time, or not, forget this time, next year, opening night, I'd still have to bet yes, just because I think that's a safer bet. But I think it's possible that Klay Thompson won't be on the Warriors next year.
Okay.
I do.
Can I just share with you why I think if he's not, what would be at the top of his list? And you tell me what you think. Yeah. Steiny, we talked about Durant last week, and we talked about the incident or what happened at the podium with Bob and Fitz and how Kevin Durant took it and if he held on to that or if that, pissed him off. This is just me now. I was an advocate for maybe Klay coming off the bench or a role change. I do wonder if he harbors resentment, the fact that they moved him to the bench and we saw, we won't call it pouting, we saw him demonstrative a few times during the season in games. And I wonder if, if that cut to the point to where if I get a chance to get up out of here, I may do it because you guys didn't have my back. You had my back when I went through the surgeries and the checks cashed, but you had me come off the bench. Maybe he's looking at Dre or Klay or Steph, and they didn't stand up and ride for him not to start. But things like that do cut, and I could be totally wrong, but Steiny, this dude wears his heart on his sleeve, and some things you can do and hurt somebody, and I know feelings, and you can't come back from. I just wonder, and that $24 million offer allegedly in the offseason, which was shorter than what Draymond got, I just wonder if Klay looks around like y'all lightweight disrespected me.
Yeah, I don't know how he looks at the Warrior situation right now. He opens up a lot, but he doesn't really tell you how he feels in terms of the contract and wanting to be here. I mean, he's talked about being here forever, but he didn't use those terms at the end of the season. He said, we'll see what happens and things like that. But the one thing from a practical standpoint that has hit me in the last 2 weeks is let's call the Warriors the Warriors and next year Steph Curry's on the team and Draymond's on the team and Klay's on the team under this scenario.
Big three.
And let's say, even if Klay's coming off the bench, I think we still know that he's going to be a big part of the team.